Hey guys, this is HellHades free to play. 2025 has come to a close. I am joined by the best of the best, all the competitors that took us on and really like pushed their limits to have this really enjoyable 12-week period. What we're going to do, we're going to deep dive on everybody's accounts. I need you to tell me down in the comments below who was the luckiest, who was the most skillful, who surprised you in this competition. So let's just go around the room quickly. YST, for those who don't know you, let's have a quick intro, man.
How's it going? I'm currently under perfect veil today in the naughty corner, so that's why I'm hiding. But yeah, man, all good. It's been a crazy grind on the free-to-play and stuff, but yeah, all come to an end now. So I've signed off, and now you signed on.
Yeah. And Trax, introduce those that haven't met you before.
Hey, I'm Trax the Max. Some call me Trax for shorts. Yeah, I've been playing since 2021, I think, and
Nice.
yeah.
How long have you been doing content for?
About 2 years ago, I think I started with that.
Nice, sweet.
Well,
okay,
actually,
cool.
well on YouTube. I did some Twitch work before that, but
Awesome. Excited to get into that when we have a kind of like chat through your account. Dante, kick it off, man.
Hello, guys. I'm Dante Raids. I do content creation for 4 months now, and I play Red Shadow Legends since 2020. So I'm a veteran player. I know how to play. So that's it.
And so you kicked off content creation just before the free-to-play challenge went live, yeah? Yeah,
I made my channel 1 month before the free-to-play challenges begin. And I was really surprised I even got a chance to be part of all of this, which was
cool.
an amazing experience.
Excellent. Okay, Bone, again, let's have your kind of backstory, your intro, please.
All right, thanks for having me. I'm Bone. I'm probably the only German creator now being on the camera, playing since 2019 and doing content since January 2024. So I'm 1 year in with that creation topic on YouTube and on Twitch.
And are all your videos in German, or do you do some like English videos as well?
No, they're 100% in German for the time of the challenge. I did turn on the translation, so whoever is probably interested in how I did during the challenge can turn on the at least English translations, the automatic translations, how good they are from YouTube.
Nice. Actually, one of the cool things I think about this challenge is it does open up to all of the different communities, and I think this year more than ever, actually, we've seen a lot of different, I guess, different nationality speaking content creators come into the mix. So very cool, very cool. Okay, Bronte, I know you've been on the channel before, but yeah, give us an intro for this challenge.
Yeah, I'm Bront Cat Herder. I've been a community member for a long time. I started Twitching 3 years ago, actually from today. So today is my 3-year Twitch anniversary, which is pretty cool. I started YouTube 2 years ago, but kind of stopped because I got busy at work, pushed it again. Well, this is about the 1-year anniversary of really kind of starting to push YouTube again. So I've been doing content creation for 3 years, YouTube really hard for the past year. And it's been an amazing journey, and I love the raid community, which is why I still create content.
Awesome. Awesome. And then we got one more, a bit of a wild card, because you would not have seen any videos from this guy, but I had to bring him onto the channel for this conversation because he absolutely blew away the community in terms of point scoring. So we've got Robin Nice Guy, I think you go by on our leaderboards. I guess, Robin, what made you get involved in the challenge?
Oh, you know, just watching everybody like y'all throughout the years, kind of keeping me excited for raid. And, you know, I love a challenge, and I put everything into it. And I came out on top with a lot of hard work and a little bit of luck on my side.
Nice, nice. Well, we will explore that account and see how lucky you were when we get to that point. But what we're going to do here, so we're going to kick off then with, I guess, our leaderboard in order. So YST, you came in 6th spot. One of the things I'd like for everyone to do when we come to your kind of like section, how hard did you play during the event? Like if 10 is you were literally playing the most Raid Shadow Legends you've ever played, then that'd be a 10. And if kind of like, you know, a 5 is, well, I use my energy once a day and I was kind of like playing at a mid-level, then that would be a 5, and obviously you can go higher or lower. But YST, kick that off. What would you say your kind of like play rate was like over this 12-week period?
Over the 12 weeks, I think I'd have to say around a 9. You know, you could always grind harder, as they say. But yeah, I think around the 9. Like I was at it, and my main account hardly saw the light of day.
Same.
So, yeah, 100%. I think, and also there was actually a spell where I actually didn't play for around 5 to 6 days. I was away, so that kind of stopped my progression at some point.
On the free to play.
Yeah, on the free to play. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
no, that makes some sense. Well, let's have a quick look then at your roster. 12 weeks after kicking off the game. So you picked up a couple of legendaries. You picked up the Mad Hatter.
Yep.
Who is actually pretty sweet. You got a Pardin, who again, actually, since his buff is kind of decent. And I guess you'd round out the Arbiter. So I guess talk me through, how lucky do you feel you've been over 12 weeks?
I think I got very lucky in like the first 3 weeks, I guess. That's where like the legendaries came, some of the best epics. I think since then, I didn't really pull anything that was like, wow, you've just changed my account. Maybe Lady Annabelle and Shamail being the highlights.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I could have beat Bomber without her. And Hydra, I don't think I would have got to where I got to without Shamail. So yeah, I'd say there was like the 2 highlights. Godseeker's cool. I've used quite a lot in the past, but I've got a lot of buff extenders, as you see on the account already.
Yeah,
in the boat, there's probably a bunch. Yeah.
I was going to say, where's Godseeker? Okay, so Godseeker didn't even make it up past 40 on the account. No. Damn. I guess for anyone else, is there any surprises in there of champions that weren't leveled for you guys?
Maybe Husk, but depending on when
yeah.
you got him.
Yeah, when did you pick up Husk, YC?
In the final 2 weeks, I picked him up. Didn't really get to it. I guess like what I was trying to do is once I had my core kind of 6-star champions and it came down to the final weeks, I was like, all right, there's not really any areas I can push further in at the moment because I was gatekeeped by some of the cursed city stages. I couldn't beat some of the bosses and stuff. And I thought, let me just rank 4 every single champion on my account. I just beat faction wars as far as I could because that's like the only jumper points that I could see in the final weeks, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I definitely did a similar thing with faction wars. So you ended up on like 345 points.
Not a crazy amount, yeah.
So you had a 38, 41, obviously with Alice pushing pretty hard there, a 32. Yeah, so probably we'll see when we go through some of the other accounts, but got a number in that kind of like 25 to 35 type of mark. A few lower, but generally, I guess it just depends whether you picked up champions that could get stuff done in those areas, right?
Yeah.
And let's have a look at the Great Hall. So,
let's not speak about Great Halls.
You smacked out the crit damage, just like push that damage as high as you can. And then probably we'll see the same for most of us here. Obviously, because of the way we score points in this challenge, it's probably badly done, honestly. You get points for like just unlocking something. So in the end, you're like, I just need to get a load of 1s and 2s to get as many points as possible, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the arena for me, was the hardest part for me this year because at the start, I didn't go with Sun Wukong. I went with Allure. And I just felt that pressure of not being able to get those early kind of farms in arena with that speed aura. Obviously, Wukong's just one of the best that you can get from early on. Sure. And I did feel it a lot. I was like, damn, man, it's like one-man defenses. How am I going to get Arbiter? So I was rinsing through gems, going crazy in the last bit. And yeah, I think this is one of the worst things for a new player experience for me that I realized because I feel like it should be based on development level. So like you can kind of put your medals around the board instead of take this 1 to 10. I think that'd be a lot better. But
yeah. And did you do much in? I didn't. Very little in live arena.
I actually got one on the board there. That's crazy.
I don't think this earns any points, but obviously it helps with any areas of the game if you were able to do this. Were you just not doing live arena? We just like stuff that. It's not for me.
No, every time I went in there, I was facing mythicals. I was like, how is this happening? Like in the lowest tier. Like, where's these guys coming from?
How many fights did you do? I'm interested now.
How many did I actually do? I
definitely lost 3 battles. Is that it?
What was it? Yes.
43 battles, and like
10 of them.
10 of those are basically a gimme because you're not fighting anyone basically.
Yeah, they were the freebies. Like every 3 battles, you get a free one. Yeah.
Damn,
that's the complete opposite of me. I was a silver 4 in live arena.
Yeah, I felt like there was some good
classic arena
rewards.
to worry about, man. Live arena is the next stage.
I wasn't enjoying live. I don't really enjoy live arena a lot, but I was just like, damn, I need those books. I need those stuff. Like, keep grinding. Yeah.
Live arena was definitely an interesting experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
I mean, so YST, what's like the area of the game, or maybe a couple that you could call out to say, you know, this is somewhere you've really done well?
I would say Chimera. That was kind of one of the core places that I wanted to take my account this year and just see where, because obviously last year throughout all the other free-to-play series, we never had the Chimera as a feature in the game, right? So I thought,
no, true,
all right,
yeah.
Every year we're doing Demon Lord, etc., etc., and I'm like, do you know what? Let me just try push an account to Chimera to see, like, I wanted to see the difference between how long does it take to get Mithrala and how long does it take to get Empress, and I thought that was a really cool take because you're both getting fragments for both. So for me,
actually, that's an interesting one. So let's see how many of each you picked up in, because you wouldn't have been doing either of those for a little
identical.
while.
It's actually identical, and I was shocked.
Oh yeah, damn.
Yeah.
Damn, actually, and Empress is obviously such a great champion to pick up. Like, damn, actually a crazy champion to pick up once you do get them. So
yeah, if you think about in the grand scheme of it, like being able to get Mithrala and Empress at a very similar time frame for me, I think that's massive for a player, and that's why I wanted to see how on par it can be. And you know, I was doing double chest on was it easy and normal for Chimera for every week for the longest. So
yeah,
I think
definitely.
That was kind of one of my main ones. I think I got like 33 million on normal was my cap, and then I think I didn't get a crazy amount on the difficulty above, so it didn't log on the leaderboard.
Yeah, and
I think it was about 6-7 million or so.
And I see you got to like hard 7 on Dragon, which is again pretty nuts in that period of time. You hit one of the ice golems for hard, not so much on Fire Knight 23.
Do you know what? It's actually one thing that I really took away from this series is as well is how obsolete these actual core dungeons are, because I was getting all my gear from, you know, the Cursed City, the Siege, the arenas, the Forge Pass, the free Forge Pass. This gear alone, I don't think I sat and farmed a single dungeon outside of milestone missions. It's all Doom Tower and gear and stuff.
I hear you. Like, unless there is something like this on your Shamal here where you've got Provoke set, generally Clan Boss set,
Clan Boss.
Yeah, like gear from other events or the Siege.
Yep.
Yeah, I hear that. I've said that in a video before, but yeah, this is probably still your starter build, is it?
Oh, that's faction was starter build. Yeah, I just kept it.
Yeah, but I completely agree with what you're saying there. Like, they kind of those dungeons feel basically obsolete, with the exception maybe of still speed gear.
Yes, there's some niche ones like speed, curse, reflex. There's some good gear, but I think for the time frame that we had, I didn't have to sit and farm energy into those areas because, you know, because once you get that, you're gonna get gear from everywhere anyway. So
yeah. And which build then would you call out as your best build?
The new market become much better anyway.
Yeah, best build. I don't think I even have one, to be honest. It was just a get by build on everyone. It's like, can you do the job in this build? Fair enough.
Yeah. So you weren't like trying to min max any builds to.
No, it's just whatever, because I'm always swapping around builds anyway to take down certain Doom Tower bosses and stuff. So, and obviously silver's a massive issue, and you know, if you just keep ranking up and trying to mid max in 3 months, it's pretty wild.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, man. Well, let's move on. Let's move on to, I guess we're going to go to Trax next, who came in 5th on the challenge. Okay, Trax. So I guess let's have a quick look at your account as well. So in terms of gold, damn, a Kaimar actually, nice. Kaimar,
yeah,
an Earstrid, a Noble, obviously a bunch of epics as well. You've got your Arbiter, got yourself a nice Vodoff, love that. Whisper, actually some good epics in here as well. Mordecai,
right?
Yeah. So what was your kind of like highlight pull, I guess? Maybe a champion that you didn't expect to help you as much as they did?
Well, to start off, the legendaries you saw, I pulled those 2 days before the end of the challenge.
No.
Yep. I didn't pull a single legendary until 2 days before the challenge ended, and then I pulled 3.
No way. That's actually gutting.
So I only got to use the Dream Song for Faction Wars, and I was trying some stuff with Kaimar to try and get some better dungeon times, but I couldn't get it to work on time with the amount of silver I had or the gear that I had laying around.
Yeah.
That's why he has this very bad build on. Don't look at that.
Do you think silver was your biggest challenge, like consistently throughout?
Yeah. Yeah, so you like YST was saying he wasn't in the dungeons a lot, and I would say I wasn't either. Although I did farm Spider quite a lot just to get some extra silver to move around gear a little bit more, and also just have some more trash gear laying around on champions.
Yeah.
Because you don't get enough ways to actually switch the gear around to push your faction wars. So I was constantly in this hole of silver, basically, where okay, I have 5 million, I can do some stuff again, and 10 minutes later you're like, all right, well, that was it.
Well, what's interesting though, right? So it's now the maybe 4th free-to-play challenge I've done yearly. This year we got that big chunk of silver at the start. We got through Curse City, you get these kind of like ability to pick up the odd free silver removal, swap around stuff, and then they turn on once a month a free silver like move around stuff. So it's better, right? It's better, but it still feels so brutal. And there's more places where you can get it as well. Like you can spend your clan gold and get silver. We get way more clan gold than we ever used to. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff that they've done, and yet still it feels so painful as a new player that's not spending.
It's also because there's like pressure points. So there's like these 2 days you have to get everything done, and those maybe aren't the days where you want to get something done or you have the champions to get something done.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just, you basically always need a couple of million silver laying around just if you want to try some stuff,
just to move stuff about. Yeah. Yeah.
No.
And so what I found towards the end when I was really wanting to push dungeons is I struggled for silver to experiment. And I thought that I could probably do better than I was doing, but actually I just couldn't make it happen. So yeah, I guess any of these champions that you didn't expect to be good that actually you found like used them a lot.
Well, I guess you can see one rare at the top there. That's pretty unusual.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's not in his gear anymore, but he was wearing some gear from Vogoth and from Arbiter. And this guy actually soloed what's it called, Sand Devil stage 22 for me.
22, damn.
Yeah.
What's
and I
emergency heal blessing? Okay.
I had to go onto my other account, my Only Voids account, and make a Daywalker there and try it out there to see if it worked. And it worked it worked on 20 there, so I was like, okay, I got this. And then actually, on the very last day, I pulled a 6-star blessing for the dude and was able to push up to 22. So I knew I had a banger with this.
Actually. So this is. I wonder if anyone else got as far as that. Did they? Was that the best?
That was the best. Yes.
22. Yeah. I actually hadn't looked at that team. Right. So this is literally just all food.
High Katoon for the
lead.
Yeah, I needed that because I couldn't get the speeds right. So.
Yeah, and he just let that cruise for 9 minutes. That's pretty impressive. That's actually really impressive for a rare. And is that literally just because of this revive mechanic? So.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. This hit cannot be a crit. Yeah. Awesome. I love to see that. Love to see stuff like that. And did you find there was any here which you did level up but just wouldn't level again? Like they just didn't really give you the impact you wanted?
I don't think so, actually. Like Flannan was a first for me too, and I really loved him. I read his kit and I was like, what is this for a rare? I never heard of him before. So
yeah.
I took him along. I had him before I had Cold Heart, so he was helping me in Spider, Fire Knight, that kind of stuff. And yeah, he was a really good one that I had never built before. So, but he kind of fell off towards the end, right?
Sure.
But
gave you some of that nice progression whilst you were waiting for other champs.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love my Flannan too.
I would have liked that to be the Dream Song, obviously, but
yeah, no, I think Bront, I think when we did a collab, you were talking about Flannan as one that you leveled as well, right?
Yeah, I only got him to 50, but he was absolutely amazing. He was why I was so far ahead in Fire Knight for a while, and brings so much useful stuff. I'm still thinking about 6-starring him on the account because I've been playing the account still.
Right, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
Cool.
He's really good.
And so if there was an area of the game other than that that sort of Sand Devil run, like what areas of the game were you really pleased with that you were able to push?
I don't know. It feels like when I look at the leaderboards, I'm on there quite a lot, but I never felt like I was doing anything special really, other than the Sand Devil thing. Arena was obnoxious, just like YST said earlier. Even though I had the Wukong, I don't know, man. Like people doing 15-minute resets the whole time just to get through the Arbiter missions was a bit crazy. But yeah, we were trying to get Arbiter obviously on the account, but I actually did like live Arena.
I was going to say, you've done a lot of live though, man. Compare this to YST, and you've got a lot of additional stats across the board. Like YST's like, damn, I could have used all of those stats.
Yeah, and I used a lot of these for the faction wars actually. Yeah, because they're very cheap to upgrade, and I pushed faction wars pretty hard as well, and I was pretty happy with that.
So yeah, you had a 50% win rate off basically 500 battles. Compare that to, I think YST had a 30% off of 40 battles, was it?
Yeah, it was a pretty good win rate, to be fair.
Yeah, that's good going. Yeah.
Wukong is strong, so I mean that's one of the reasons why I picked Wukong to be able to do that.
Damn, 672 stars. That's crazy. A ton, actually. That is an absolute ton. So you got loads. Well, all of them above 30. Wow, that's crazy.
Because I was so my luck was so bad that I figured, you know what, I just have to be in campaign all the time. So I'm also level 66 on the account. So I was pushing campaign constantly, just making food and trying to get champions up to level. And while doing that, obviously you make a lot of 5 stars and 4 stars, and they can help you push these faction wars, right?
Yeah.
And then that combined with the live arena bonuses, I think I had like 10% ignore defense just right off the bat. That helps a lot when you're trying to get through the waves and stuff, because you're not able to get everyone in Savage and stuff like that, right? So
yeah, I did pick up on this actually recently. So the new faction war, like hard mode that's coming out for people that've been playing for a long time, this is almost like a must-do area right now. Like getting this to 10 out of 10 because it's a grade 1. It's super cheap as well. And exactly. I don't think I took advantage of this myself in this free-to-play, like really pushing the amount of stats that you've got here. This is really good, actually. But yeah, for anyone who's playing long-term, getting ignore defense in faction wars because it's quite cheap, I think it's like a must-do right now. Because what they tend to do when they're scaling content harder, they just bring people out super tanky, like loads of defense, loads of stats, and then you've got to try and blow your way through that. So this ignore defense mechanic is one of the strongest. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that helped me a lot.
Yeah, nice, man. And then I don't know, like how would you rate your activity then on that sort of scale of 1 to 10 for, 10 being you played obscene amounts, I guess.
I wanted to say like 9.5, but during my birthday, I kind of took 3 days off to only log in a couple of times a day. So maybe more like 9 or 9 point something, I guess.
Yeah. How do you feel now that the challenge is over, by the way?
I want to say real quick, if anyone says they did a 5, I don't believe you.
Yeah. I'm curious actually what the lowest score is out of those. But yeah, I watched an interesting vid from Callouts just the other day where he was like, he almost feels like he's on this kind of low because he's played so intensely for this competition for the last 12 weeks. And then it's over and it's like, I don't know what to do with Raid Shadow Legends anymore. And I felt exactly that way this week. I've gone from this kind of like intense free to play, everything's a challenge. I'm pushing everywhere to I'm back on my main account and I can just do everything basically. It's a bit of a weird experience.
The challenge aspect is just kind of out the window. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I have a challenge still running, so I'm still doing the Only Voids account, which is an account with only Void champions, basically.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And yeah, so that still gives me that feel a little bit, but without the pressure, right? Because that was for me, that was the biggest thing. I was just constantly trying to push myself because, okay, you know, the team wants me to put up points. I want to be on that leaderboard because it's just cool to have your name up there.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was the constant pressure. And I would wake up. First thing I would do is grab my phone, log in. Oh, there's 130 energy. Okay, get rid of that energy as soon as possible so it starts ticking up again, right?
Yeah.
And
for sure, man.
I'm glad that that's behind me now, because that's not really healthy, right?
No, this is it. It's not a healthy way to play for honestly for that longer period of time. Like 12 weeks is actually a long time to play at that level.
Yeah.
And you ended up coming in just over 13,000. So I guess let's flip onto my account now, and I could say, just whilst I'm loading mine in, I was actually meant to stream like the start of the game. Or I did stream the start of the game for like 4 hours or so, and I was meant to go to sleep at that point. I started watching someone else's stream, and I ended up playing that opening element for about 11 hours straight. I went to bed at like 7 a.m. on the sofa, so I didn't wake up Lady H, because I was just like on one. And I kind of kept up a crazy level of play for me for most of it, honestly. For most of it, I was at that kind of like between 9 and 10. I had 2 periods of time where I just was away for work stuff with the Fateless stuff, and my play dropped off a decent amount. And in fact, one of them I didn't play for about 3 days straight. But outside of that, it's easily the most intense I've played like a free-to-play challenge, like by a decent amount. And what blows my mind still is how far I still am away from the people that actually won this thing. Like,
in a different world.
It is. It's like I can't
Crazy.
imagine. It's like what, 25% more or something, maybe more than that. Like it doesn't seem like it's possible to have done what some of these other guys have done, like Bront and Bone and obviously Rob. Absolutely obscene. So yeah, I guess to run through some of my stuff, I very early on pulled Ruel, who I'd say was probably a bit of a bait pull for me, because I don't think at any point he really felt like he was worthwhile on my account. I feel like he's more of a later game. I'm now starting to really push an area of the game, and he could work well for that. But because we started with Alice, I already had my damage. I didn't really need another champion to do that, and that's pretty much all he was bringing. Maybe with a bit of brings accuracy as well, I guess. But yeah, I never really felt like I got him going, and you can see that with the sort of he was a late 6-star for me, even though I got him quite early. And then I had this magical moment where I pulled 1 shard on the 2-for-1 ancient event and got myself Lady Kimmy and Necmo. And honestly, that was a big sort of just change of pace for my account, because suddenly I was able to utilize like their joint ability. In fact, they kind of do a lot of the same stuff. So I only really, I'd say I massively benefited from Necmo, and I partially benefited from Kimmy. But the Necmo really did help me in a lot of Doom Tower stuff, which I was able to really sort of push Doom Tower hard.
Yeah, I saw you pull Necmo, and I thought, oh my god, now he's coming up. He's closing in.
It's over.
It was serious game changer time. Like,
and I remember seeing that too. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, when I saw the pool, I said, okay, we were done now.
Well, the thing is, and it's not just a Hydra champion, which is how people associate him. He was in every team. Like Clan Boss, he's giving me a decreased attack. He's giving me Leech. He's speeding me up. Loads of Doom Tower waves. I could run him in this stun set and push way higher in like hard Doom Tower. Same sort of thing with Curse City. It's really just such a versatile legendary. So he was a massive game changer. One of the other champions, which I would say has been a surprise for me, is Taragi. Taragi the Frog is just like insanely good across the whole game. And I've always seen him as a Clan Boss champion. His ability to provoke is basically how I got through Doom Tower hard And I think on one of the areas I got up to, let me just see here where it was.
I think it was rotation 3, Dark Fate 1.
Yeah, so I got to like hard 84 on one area, which was a lot of points where people weren't scoring points, and sort of enabled me to start to catch up to some of these guys. But unfortunately, I didn't get anywhere near close enough. But yeah, I was able to really start to push, just because really he was controlling the enemy waves and was giving me enough time to get my Alice damage away and that type of stuff. And interestingly, I think this is the Bommel set.
Yeah, that's the Bommel. That's the Templar that got you through 50 Bommel, which was something I couldn't quite make happen, and clearly Bone couldn't either. So,
did you try the Templar strat?
Yeah, I made a whole video on it. Templar was amazing for my account. He actually opened a ton of stuff in Curse City as well, and been very, very helpful on the account still.
Sure. Again, Templar, I think I went back and looked at some old video of how to get through Bommel 50 normal or something like that. And I was like, oh, Templar can help. Yeah, I remember that now. I found Templar really useful in a ton of places, actually. Not just there. I actually used him in a lot of places with the same sort of idea of soloing stuff. But yeah, I mean, I was surprised that he was able to beat up Bommel 50 on hard. And I think it does go to show, like, he's not wearing his relic anymore, but some of the things that have been added to the game, like some of the blessings, like some of the relics where you heal, it actually just changes the scope of the game. So I think I was using this one where no, not this one, sorry, this one.
Yep.
Where I get an extra chance to heal, I get extra stats, and yeah, just things which weren't possible before, I think have suddenly become possible over the last year or so. One of the things I also want to call out, which I thought was really good, I don't know if I can still see it anywhere here, is the first week. So we get the silver, which I mentioned earlier, but we also get that starter quest.
The Apprentice Pass.
Apprentice Pass, that's it, yeah. So I didn't know that existed before we did this challenge. And there's one of the things I really like about the free-to-play series is every year I just get to see what the game looks like from a new player perspective. And it's always actually very different. There's always like these new things that they've added in. For me, that was a brilliant addition. Like we were able to get your starter 6-star quicker. We were able to get some gear coming through, I think it was more energy, more silver, all these different little elements that came in. Was there a Ascension as well? I'm trying to remember now actually what I got, but
yeah,
maybe not Ascension.
It basically lets you for free get your starter up to 4-star Ascended, 4-star fully booked, because it's enough books to fully book your starter, I believe, as well.
Yeah,
it's a great pass
for sure. Yeah, so I think that was a really good addition. I think as well. So I used Sabbather a ton. I actually thought Arbiter was going to replace my Sabbather in a lot of teams once I got Arbiter. She didn't. Sabbather's ability to bring that increased defense across your whole team whilst also giving you increased attack. For anything outside of Arena, Sabbather actually stayed in my team over Arbiter, which I was quite surprised by. So yeah, really, I've really enjoyed like some of the different champions that I played with that perhaps I haven't used a lot before. So Tagore was another one that I've not really used a lot, but came into a lot of teams and was able to keep the teams moving and keep them alive.
Tagore is absolutely a crazy champ. Like, he hard carried me the whole 3 months, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, so I went hard Sabbather rather than Tagore early on, and I think there's a thing to say you could have done either, and they were both really strong in a similar sort of way. But yeah, no, I was quite surprised. Let's just have a look at what I got. So I got 478 on Faction Wars. Probably more similar to yours, YST, in that most were around 20 to 30, and then I had a couple of like standouts.
Because, like, even for me, like the entire series, like dwarves and lizards, I didn't pull any. I had like Jizzo for Lizardman, and then I had like the Morag that we got for free for the dwarves. And
yeah, often I was looking at it, I was like this, and I was like, nah, I don't really have a squad that I think is going to get me much further. Or I'd picked up a champion super late that wasn't going to make the difference. But yeah, this is definitely an area that...
Was you farming it the entirety of the time, or was you like me and you kind of just focused Faction Wars later?
I always tried to get like glyphs and stuff on a daily basis when I was active, but I only pushed if I saw that I'd got someone that was coming into 6-star or a couple of 5 stars. That's when I started to actually push, and maybe that's an area that I probably could have done better in. I think over the last 12 weeks, and then for arena, so I did push arena pretty hard early on, and I was able to get a lot more kind of upgrades. I think the most, not the all, but the most. I think I really got a lot of extra stats for my Alice. I had a lot of magic champs, and then right at the end, so I sort of focused magic, then I started to focus the spirit because of Templar and Necmo, and then right at the end I was like, crap, I just need to fill everything else in so I get some points. So literally like the rest of it was done in the last few days really. And I did do a decent amount of live arena. I didn't do the same strat. I did a little bit of it, but didn't really do the same strat on Faction Wars. I spent a bit more on Clan Boss early on and was trying to really push my Clan Boss team. I was hoping to get like an Ultra Nightmare team by the end of this, which I kind of scraped it towards the end, but not as well as I would have liked to have done. I think in the end, my sort of standout was probably Chimera, honestly. Hit a really big Chimera key on the second, no, not second rotation, but it was maybe like 9 or 10 weeks into the challenge. I hit a really good key. And it was after actually seeing, like, we did a collab, Bront and I was like, damn, Bront has done a great key. And I was like, right, now I'm going to go after that.
What team did you use?
So I had Necmo in there. Basically, I was using Arbiter and Udo as revives, or Arbiter as a revive, but Udo was like, I'm going to revive the whole team about halfway through the fight. I think everyone wiped apart from him or her.
I performed right.
Yeah, and then
my team looked a lot more budget compared to that.
Yeah, well, this is me really using those legendaries to their max potential, because for Chimera, controlling speed's super important. As many hits as you can get in your time, super important. And and obviously I had a leech here on Necmo, which meant I was able to keep my guys topped up. Udo was like a secondary leech as well. So even on the one where you kill yourself, I was able to like heal whilst I'm killing myself. So it was like countering itself a bit.
Was you guys shocked at how powerful? Because obviously every year when we do the free-to-play series, we have some kind of like free champion come in, right? Well, how was your guys' experience with Alice? I thought she was absolutely
Alice was
insane.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, phenomenal, yeah.
Best one.
Especially with the 5-star
Alice is
soul.
an amazing champion.
Amazing.
Yeah, the soul as well, right? It's crazy.
I think she's just short of Thor as far as overall general utility and usefulness, probably.
Well, I think maybe even more so for a new account, because you can't even underestimate how powerful it is to lock out the whole enemy wave in stuff like Doom Tower or Faction Wars or any of those areas where you've got waves. It was I thought she was phenomenal, honestly. So
also gave another option to maybe pick a different free champion instead of like Monkey.
Yeah, what do you say there? So you think she should be an option, did you say?
No, I'm saying that since you're getting Alice for free, you can, instead of picking Monkey, you can pick another champion like,
I see, yeah.
Sigmund I went with.
Yeah, no, so I did exactly
really
that. I picked the Frog instead of Monkey because I was already guaranteed this legendary damage dealer, yeah. So I guess that's kind of like highlights from mine. Really, for me, all of the clan bosses I was pretty pleased with in terms of like how well they went. Hydra, I was able to get a good key in just under 8 mil, and clan boss Demon Lord, I got my Ultra Nightmare kind of like just would have scraped to 3 key-ish with a good hit. But I was hoping for a bit better than this, honestly, and I think someone else has basically got the same team as me that did end up doing like a really strong key with better stats
damage
and stuff,
area.
so.
What is this?
Yeah. So anyway, so that's me. So I came in just behind Dante. So Dante, let's bring your account up and take a look. But yeah, I will say to Trax, what you were saying there about, as soon as you're waking up, you were playing. I was literally playing until like the reset for the day, which for me is midnight. I think it's midnight. And then, well, maybe sometimes it was like 1 a.m. And then I was like, well, now I need to use some of this stuff that I just got. So often I was like 2 a.m., 2:30 a.m. laying in bed, just like using stuff, just thinking, what am I doing with my life right now?
Yeah, it was funny because I mean, I'm in the US, so it's obviously a different time for me. But I think the first time you and I ended up talking in chat was because I met you in Live Arena the one time. And
yes, that's it. Yeah.
You got caught out in the middle of the night. It's like,
hilarious.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing up? I'm like, I don't even know.
It's like that Spider-Man meme. Do you know, just like pointing at each other?
I would wait for Clan Boss to actually reset, and then I would go to sleep.
So what time is Clan Boss reset for you guys?
12 p.m.
Yeah, okay. So that's basically was my daily reset. So I was doing the same thing, but for me it was like I had to be careful because when you look at your next reward, I was like I was making sure it wasn't like a massive energy one, otherwise it's going to be a 4 a.m. or
I can go to sleep now.
Yeah. Okay, then Dante Raids. Let's have a look. So yeah, give us your kind of like, I guess, effort rating over this time.
How much I played?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the first 1.5 months, I was playing much harder than I would like, to be honest.
Sure.
And I did a video about tools I'm using in Raid, like your site, like RSL Helper and everything.
Yeah.
And my best tool for this challenge was remote desktop. I had my game on my PC at home open all day. And when I was at work, because I have an office work, I have a freelance in the evening. So wherever I was getting on my phone, remote desktop, getting some stuff in, playing, grinding, closing it. And yeah, through the night, my reset is at 2 to 3 a.m. in Greece. So yeah, a lot of all-nighters. But from the second half of the second month, actually, the progress was not that great. So it was more doing dailies, doing a stage by stage, trying to progress. We couldn't do that much progressing, leveling up so hard like in the first month.
Yeah. And did you have a particular like tactic around, trying to push your account level as fast as you could, or were you trying to push for Arbiter as fast as you could? Like, what was your starting direction, I guess?
When I started, I didn't believe I could actually participate in the top 10. So that's why I chose Monkey King, although we got Alice. So my strategy was to just push pretty much everything and have fun with it. And since I love Arena, I thought I would go that way. But I had some of good luck, I should say. First day I got Tyrant. Second day I got Harima.
Dude.
Third day I got a second...
I was going to say something here.
Yeah.
You got 2 fucking Harimas in here. What the fuck is this?
Wait, is there 2 in there? Oh my gosh.
She's got 2 Harimas. Like, what am I seeing with my eyes right now?
What's going on, man?
He's chilling.
One back to back.
I cannot even believe what I'm seeing.
One from Sacreds, one from Ancients.
Seriously?
Like
wow. That's actually disgusting.
Oh my god.
I barely used the second one just for faction wars and maybe some dungeons, but
crazy.
Yeah, it's a crazy account. I had a lot of dupes.
Sorry, I missed what you said. How early did you get your first Harima?
The second day. Second login day. In the first day I got Tyrant.
Yeah, it was like him and Neva got the same day, both got Harima, I think, or something like that.
Yep.
I should have invited Neva on just to show the account, because Neva's account is gross as well. Wow, that's mad. So literally early on, you're like, I've got choices around where I'm going to focus my resources here, because that's one of the challenges that people don't get. They think, oh, you're super lucky, but you've also then got to make some really hard decisions around where am I going to throw all of my legendary books, for example? Where am I going to throw? Who am I going to 6-star first? Like, what am I going to focus on with these champions? So I guess, what did you prioritize first?
basically my priorities changed like every 6 hours that I pulled the shard. So in the beginning I was like, I'm going to 6-star Wukong. I pulled the shard. Okay, I got Tyrant. He's my clan boss team all by himself, so I'm gonna 6-star him. The next shard I got Harima. Yeah, forget Tyrant. I'm going with Harima because she basically is a defense champion, decrease attack, crazy damage.
Yeah.
So she steamrolled through campaigns, through the first stages of pretty much every dungeon. And
so she was your first 6-star.
Yeah.
To push your campaign, yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, basically what I used in many cases is Harima to do all the damage. She couldn't die, basically. And I had Wukong to just, as a piñata, they were killing him. He was coming back up. So I 3-starred everything pretty much quickly.
I love that, yeah. And when did you get Lonitharil?
I got him like, I think second month, like in the beginning, 5 weeks in.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So I got with him, and I didn't really like him that much, to be honest. Like I leveled him up because I thought his ally attack and shield could be a great help in clan boss. But even if I go with Morag, I think she would be even better, to be honest.
Yeah, probably
with much less resources.
Yeah.
So he was pretty much a bait
but
for me.
You fully booked him out, basically. So he's...
Yeah, I wanted his shield and ally attack, so I tried him.
Actually, so you didn't use any books on Wukong or Alice, damn.
Yep.
Interesting.
I didn't use any books on Alice, and she's still in pretty much every team. And she was doing an amazing job.
She works amazingly well without books because she doesn't need them for any of the triggers for anything she does, and the cooldowns are automatically reset on her passive anyway. So
Yeah.
I guess she doesn't need them for some of that stuff.
I never felt that I needed books on her. That's why I prioritized the other ones that were in the main clan boss team, basically.
Okay, cool.
And a big plus is that I got Toragi from a shard as well, pretty much 2 weeks in. So the clan boss team was pretty much finished.
So you had two potential ally protectors. You had Harima.
I had them both in.
You had them both in, did you?
Yeah.
And what's actually, let's see, what sort of damage were you taking out on?
Just a War Master proc below you in Demon Lord.
Sorry, say again. Oh, just below it. Yeah. So do you feel like you could have pushed like harder on clan boss? Do you think you could have got a higher score with the team you got there?
Yeah, I could really do better, but I had no silver from the beginning.
Yeah.
I had a lot of gear, but every time I tried to upgrade it, I had 5 million silver. Tried to upgrade 2 pieces, I was out. Like my luck stopped at shard pulling.
Yeah.
I didn't have that great of luck in gearing.
And were there any champions that you did level out that you perhaps weren't used to using that you liked, or have kind of changed your view on them in terms of epics?
I would say Rare, Diabolist in the second row, was my favorite champion in the whole account.
Diabolist?
Yep.
How come?
She was my live arena speed booster. And I was pretty much going first in 99% of all the matches without a speed aura, because they pretty much always banned Wukong.
Okay.
She's the reason that I was winning so much in live arena, basically.
So you did a similar thing to me in terms of like filled out the Demon Lord from live arena. How active were you for live arena then? 564, yes, over 500 battles. Was this quite a high priority for you to get live arena like cooking? 50% win rate.
It was a priority because I actually like it. Like I'm a weirdo like this, so
yeah,
I took advantage of it to do good, get some more stats in all dungeons and Demon Lord to do more damage. But I was having fun with it because like I said, in some clan mates and some early game people, I got banned only once with Diabolist, and she was like 294 speed.
Right. Okay.
So
I guess people just
it was
see it as a
great.
level 50, and we're like,
For the two first months, I got her in level 40.
right.
So nobody touched her, and they were all losing to Diabolist.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yep.
And then you've got a Royal Guard, actually, which
Yeah,
is a
Royal
kind of
Guard
enemy
helped
max
me a lot in
XP.
Fire Knight. When I got him in the second month, like I stopped getting legendaries after the first week of the second month. Then I got a lot of epics. Sanguinia is also I think a mistake to 6-star, at least for my account. Like she didn't do as much as I would want her to do. I thought I would use her for the stun in Demon Lord or in Spiders and all, but I couldn't keep her alive enough to do real work.
Sure. And how did you find things like Doom Tower, all those different areas which are like outside of the normal main part of the game, I guess?
I actually didn't thought I would finish so early Doom Tower normal, because it's been so many years since we first played with it. And in Doom Tower Hard, I should be a bit higher, but I had problems with crowd control. So that kept me a bit back. And Paragon was a big star because he helped me in Bommel and in Scarabos. I changed him from deflection set to poison set, resistance build, and just kept going.
And so where did you use him? What did you use him for?
Bommel and Scarab.
Just a solo?
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, nice.
An old strategy, but still working. So
yeah. I mean, he still cheeses stuff. I think who was it? Maybe was it Nubs that used him to do the Never Spider as well? Just in the deflection set, throwing poisons back at the boss. Like, yeah, that's cool. And then I noticed as well, actually, you got one of YST's favorites in here, who I used last year a ton.
Let's go.
Cornelia is a mistake that I didn't 6-star her earlier. I think she would help me much more than Sanguinia, for example.
Yeah, I mean, YST, he's got about 700 videos on Cornelia on his channel.
I know. I have seen them all.
Cornelia love.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, it's crazy you got 2 Harimas in such a quick succession, though, man. That's actually nuts. Cool. Thank you for that. Right, let's move on. Let's go on to second place from the content creators, which is Bone.
No,
nearly.
Bone came in first.
Bront. Sorry, Bront. Sorry, I've got you around the wrong way.
I mean, it took a while for, we were fighting at the end for a while, and, I had the lead for a long time, and then Bone took over, and I just couldn't catch him. So, I mean, congrats to you, dude. That was awesome.
It was so fun. That fight during the whole last month was really amazing. I only catched you at the last day of the second month. So, wow.
Yeah. And then, of course, you had the lead from there, but I know you never you're always looking back a little bit, too, because it's like, what is he going to do to jump?
Every day.
Yeah.
So
I did send you...
Same question to you around activity. How active do you think you were over 12 weeks?
I was probably in a 9 to 10 range very early on. For the last month, it dropped down to probably about 6.5. Just because I had work concerns at that point in time towards the end of it, so that was that certainly dropped it a little bit. But to be fair, 9 to 10 at the very start is when you need to be in there. So I did actually send you 2 pictures of stuff that I'd accomplished that I thought was just kind of cool as well in Discord. So if you get those,
cool.
One of them was
trouble with that is if I go onto that, then I lose all of us.
Okay, that's fine. Then don't worry about that then.
But yeah, talk us through. What was it that you sent across?
Well, 2 of them. One of them was the clan, the fact that I beat the Undead Faction Wars the day, basically a few hours after we finished the rotation.
63 stars, damn. Yeah.
You know, we Fabian just absolutely amazing, but I also have Morrigan with that as well, and they combine really, really well with all the fears and everything else like that. And I had just gotten a Husk, which was what brought the other one there, which was my one key of Hard Hydra.
Oh, okay, nice. Let's have a quick look at that team.
That's true. You can't see that there. Yeah, I speed built Husk at the end. I got Tyrant really late, and Rector's absolutely amazing. And I was trying to put Taragi in here as well, and then somebody in chat, because I was actually doing this live at the end, and somebody in chat said, "You realize that there's no provoke head out there right now. You don't need to provoke anybody." I was like, "Oh, I don't." And I pulled Taragi out the last minute, and it was I think I got that in with under an hour to go on the deadline too. So it was absolutely amazing.
Nice, yeah. And is that, would you say that was one of your biggest achievements there, what you achieved on Hydra, or is there others that you would kind of call out as...
That was a good one. I did really well in Faction Wars. The fact that I got that key in Ultra Nightmare on Clan Boss was really nice.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, you know, again, a Tyrant Taragi team there, but as you can see, Tagore and Ugo are absolutely everywhere. Geomancer was super clutch. I got him kind of early. And then the Chimera team was actually kind of funny because we were talking about chasing the Chimera scores. What propelled me number one for a long time was I got a really lucky Chimera score on normal because I managed to get an Ugo revive, and I got 30 million on normal. And it took me until the last week of the competition to beat that one.
Did it?
So I was like top 1 or 3 in Chimera, and I had Kale in my team still because it just happened to have been the run that was just amazing.
Sure. I love that. So it looks like then you did Fabian as a fusion, did you? Did you do the...
Yeah, actually, if you look right next to him, you can see the epic. I actually did the extra epic in that fusion as well.
So is that because you saved resources? Like, how did you achieve that?
Yeah, I see. Well, what happened is I'd always wanted to kind of go into a save mode once I had a core team. And so I had a core, and I didn't have the core team for a long time. It just at least didn't feel like I had a core team. You know, but again, it was kind of where the count went. Like the first couple days, I got a Frozen Banshee. That became my core clan boss team early on. A couple weeks in, I pulled Geomancer. That became the next focus there. So Geomancer became a 6-star, and he was the next team person to focus on. And then I was pulling, it's like, all right, I need like one more champion to kind of push myself to I'm good and I can spread out. And I never quite got that champion. And it finally got to the point where I said, I'm going to stop pulling shards and save up for the fusion. And I think I did... Just because I'd saved up everything for that champion chase, I think I did 12,000 points in that champion chase because I had 2 Sabbathas I pulled, and I got Arbiter, and I got Morag, and I got all the different epics I pulled, and it was just, and I had 50 ancients ready for that fusion as well. So and I just pulled everything because at that point in time it's like I've got 2 weeks left in the competition, might as well pull everything.
Might as well do it, yeah.
But Fabian is so good even at 50. I almost didn't do the 3-star for him and ended up just getting the 3-star because I had enough resources to do it. He's kind of booked out now. Towards the end, I don't know if he was fully booked when I did the Faction War stuff with him, but it was all it really was a what have I got, what can I make the best of what I have here. And it was never like getting the top tier champions other than Geomancer. Obviously Geomancer's a goat.
Yeah.
But like I was looking for an amazing speed champion. I would have loved a Necmo. I got Morrigan, and I was initially disappointed, but she really is a lot better than I expected from her. And I always knew she was good. But
and this is the thing with this sort of challenge, right? Is champions which, if you've got this maxed out account with all this loads of stuff, and you get yourself a Morrigan, you're like, well, I can't really see that I'm going to build her out because I've already got a number of champions that basically do the same type of thing. But when you're starting a new account and you don't have all of those tools at your disposal, these champions that we see and think, they're kind of average, actually they can become really strong, like game changers, basically.
Yeah. And she got a huge boost because of Fabian, too, because she's got fears on that A2.
Yeah.
So basically, if I'm not fearing with Fabian for some strange reason, I've got fears on Morrigan anyway. Morrigan actually let me tackle people with Stone Skin occasionally because she can steal Stone Skin with that A2 as well, which was very, very nice.
Ah, cool. Yeah.
And then I actually found the block healing was actually more important in live arena than I ever expected.
Yeah.
Probably the most frustrating thing on this account, though, is if you go into the faction guardians, and just not the high elves, but like lizardmen. I pulled a dupe Broadmaw, or not Broadmaw, but Broodlord early.
Yeah.
He's not great. He's okay. Dark elves. I pulled a lot of dark elves, including four cold hearts.
What am I seeing there?
And yeah, I built 2 of them because 2 of them made a lot of sense, but 4 of them, no. That's
actually mad. Yeah.
I kind of hoped Spider would have been better than he was. He just wasn't that great. Dwarves, I got a dupe Geomancer.
I would have killed for one of those. I tell you what, so this is interesting because in my head, with the challenge that we were doing, I was thinking if I get a dupe, I would probably just use it as food rather than use it to do faction guardians. Like, because I was trying to 6-star as quick as I could, I guess. I think there was probably 1 or 2 times where I just did get dupes and I just fed them.
I fed 2 epics. I fed a Dark Aethel and I fed, I think, Frostbringer. So nothing of consequence really. But no, the dupes were very much, especially once at the second dupe for dwarves. It's like, okay, I've actually got some decent dwarf epics, and suddenly I'm getting all of them that max HP and the extra attack. That actually seemed usable for all of them. And even attack actually helped me in Clan Boss because Geo's doing his A1 and A2 in Clan Boss still too, so that's something. Just lots of dupes though. It was just the amount of dupes was absolutely insane on this account.
Well, I was just thinking here, and maybe it's because you didn't really feed anyone, but I feel like you've just got a lot of epics. Like you've got a ton of epics on this account. It might just because they're all out and you didn't feed anyone, but I just feel like you've got loads here.
I pulled almost everyone out of the vault too. I still got more in the vault floating around too, but to show off. But like, I had an occult brawler. I never built him because it just never felt right to build him. Because while he was better than Kale at doing damage, he wasn't so good that it would have been a huge improvement over Kale.
Yeah.
And I've had resources I want to invest somewhere else. The other thing you'll notice that I think was kind of the most important thing for me was I've got a lot of blessings. And I was very, very active in Iron Twins, and I think that was one of the most important things. Now, I've got lucky for those. Like Galax got a 5-star soul. That was just kind of cool. And then I got him.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, you got way more champions with blessings than I had, and I found that was often for a rotation of Cursed City. It was always my blocker was I'm hitting the ascension areas where I just didn't have enough. I didn't have enough points to get through that stage. And I guess
I'm sure some of it was luck for pulling them, and some of it is just the fact that I was grinding Iron Twins every day, all 6 keys, about as high as I could reasonably do it without losing too often.
At what point did you start doing that?
The day it opened.
So from when you could first access it, you were basically putting in.
I went up to level 3 and farmed level 3 until I could finally farm level 6, until I could finally farm level 9. And I can do 12 or 11 on 1 or 2 of them almost reliably now.
Yeah.
Not Void, but...
Sure. Interesting. Did you find yourself farming dungeons at all with energy?
I farmed the event dungeon because I got up to level 19 pretty quickly for that. I did eventually get to 20. In fact, I think I was number 2 on time. Somebody beat me by 2 seconds on 20 in that. But... and then Fire Knight for the longest time was the only other one I would farm because Fire Knight's got, stun set is really good. Savage is clearly a good set there.
Yeah.
Regeneration was something I knew I was going to need. Other than that, I avoided farming Dragon unless I needed to for an event. Same with Ice Golem. Same with Spider, but Spider I really struggled with until I got Tyrant, and I was kind of struggling to get, and I finally got to Spider 20 with a Cold Heart team. And then when I pulled Tyrant, I pretty much pushed directly all the way up to Spider 25 when I needed to. So
Yeah. Interesting. Cool. And I guess, was there any champions that stood out for you that perhaps you've leveled that you wouldn't have leveled, and found them useful?
Vergis was interesting, and I think Vergis was more a victim of I got him, and I was like, "Oh, good, I've got an ally attacker. I've never built a Vergis before. This would be kind of fun." And he's supposed to be good. Not only that, but we were also dealing with a Scarab boss at the time, so I figured I'd use him for Scarab. And then the day I 6-starred him, I pulled a Taragi. So it's like, okay, well, the ally protection part's out because he's currently going to be my next 6-star, and Taragi is going to be absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
And again, it went with where my account, I pulled the champions I needed, not necessarily the champions I wanted. So, I got a Geomancer when I was looking for the Necmo Thar, for example. When you pulled Necmo, I was looking to get a Necmo Thar, and I got a Dupe Geomancer. But Dupe Geomancer helped me in Faction Wars a little bit with just some random gear thrown on, better than nothing.
Yeah.
Phylgia was decent. I really actually like the Fusion Epic, the Lightword, whatever her name is. She's actually pretty solid as a damage dealer. Durandil took me a little while to get going. I got him going towards the end, but once I got
Durandil,
Durandil,
with Durandil, like what's just
he's
as a damage
he's
dealer?
a beast of a nuker. He's a beast of a nuker.
He smacks.
Yeah, especially that A3 is a single target nuke. He's my third arena nuker, basically.
Okay.
Because I have Monkey King, I've got Alice, and I wanted to replace Kale, and he replaced Kale very well.
And if you were starting again, would you still go Monkey King as your champ?
Sorry, what was that?
If you were starting again, would you still take Monkey King as your freebie champion?
Yes, other than I do think that the Supreme Gallic that they're offering now is a better than that. But again, they weren't offering that at the time. Yeah. But I really do, because I wanted to focus on Arena, and without his Arena speed lead, I wouldn't have had any speed lead until I got Haikatoon. And Haikatoon was a fun one because I got Haikatoon, I built her to 5 stars, and the day I got her to 5 stars, I was about to get her to 6, and then I pulled Morrigan. It was like, oops, okay, pivot here, go with Morrigan instead, because she's certainly a little bit better. And
yeah, you definitely got a lot more than I had actually on level ups here.
Yeah, I think one or two of those are post-event, but still, it's and my strategy was to spread them out too. So I went for Arbiter, but I actually took longer to get Arbiter than some people did, because I stopped and actually filled in most of the ones before I got to level 10.
Right.
Partially because I knew I had to get to the win 200 arena fights, so I figured once I have to win 200 arena fights, that'll be the stuff I get for the 10 anyway, which is the next one over there.
Yeah, yeah.
But they really do need to fix those missions. I think those missions are not great, particularly the fact that one of them requires you to build a level 7 arena affinity bonus, and then the next one is get into gold arena, but you can't do one without the other.
No, true. They're just completely out of sync. I think anything which is arena focused right now, it feels bad as you're moving towards Arbiter at this point. We've said about a number of things being better for a new player. That's definitely one of the areas that just feels bad. You get into gold, and then unless you know to just look for free wins, every fight just feels demoralizing when you're in gold.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I did a lot of live arena. In fact, I am dreading the fact when I get into gold live arena, because it's coming soon.
Oh yeah. What did you do? 660. Obviously, done a little bit more since, but still, and again, about 50%. I think shows.
Yeah, and that's probably fallen significantly, because I think the last 3 or 4 days I have been under 30%, because it's just now starting to get absolutely brutal to find any match whatsoever, and I'm not even getting the bots if I'm losing 3 in a row.
Sure.
You're still playing the account, Bront? You're still playing the account?
Yeah. And maybe the miracle of all this stuff, I ran 3 accounts for the entire time I was doing this. I ran my main, I ran my alt, and I ran this account here. Now, obviously, I wasn't driving them very hard, but I did the fusion for Fabian on all 3 of them, And it was definitely an interesting adventure doing that, and that was just not sustainable. So I've actually found a way to give my second account to somebody else, probably permanently. And I'm going to focus on this one as a secondary account because I find having 2 accounts is great for content creation because it's nice to have the early and the late game perspective for stuff too.
Did you find you were close to burnout for playing that many accounts that intensely?
It was a relief at the very end. And as I said, I described it on stream. It was both a relief that this is over, a proudness of coming in second, and the disappointment of not coming in first, which is really only because I was in first for so long too. But again, this is not to discredit anybody for what they did. There's 2 things involved in this. Obviously, game knowledge and time you're dedicating to this stuff, but there is definitely a level of RNG involved as well too. I don't get Geomancer, I'm probably not in this top 5, at least not early on if I don't get something else.
Just such a big boss killer, right, for Geo. So as you're going up places like Doom Tower or really anywhere,
crazy.
any boss environment, like
even for me, and I didn't even have a single burner. It's nuts.
Oh yeah. And then but that was the only burner I had for a while too, which was very frustrating. Other than I had Selenian Nightcloak, but she's certainly not a good replacement for an AoE burner in any way, shape, or form. And as I mentioned before, Bone, I know you've got Helicath, and as I was telling other people, that's so amazing that you've got Helicath. But at the same time, it takes the knowledge to know how to make the most out of having that champion to win this event, and that's kind of where I can't take anything away from you. It's not that you got luckier than I did. You may have gotten a different set of luck, but you also knew how to use it. And that's really kind of what I think this highlights is it's not just luck, because some of us got great luck, some of us didn't, and we all got different amounts of luck at different times. But we managed to make some amazing things happen on some of these accounts, and in some cases with really weird champions, like that Daywalker thing is kind of cool, I think. So
yeah, definitely, yeah. I actually didn't pull a significant burner at any point, and it was a real challenge. Like there's so the last rotation of Doom Tower, where you've got the what's the name of the balloon ice spider? Frostspider, yeah.
Oh, Frostspider, yeah.
I'm just like, fucking hell! I've got no way of burning. Do I need to build out a armager just to do this fight? Like,
it's exactly what happened to me. I literally had no burner the whole series, right?
Yeah.
And then when the rotation 1 started, so the 3rd rotation we did, I finally pulled a coffin smasher, and I was like, this is my only avenue. Like, if I didn't pull that, I'd be even spiders was nasty without a burner or a termeter dropper like a cold art. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's actually crazy. Actually crazy. So look, this is the winner from the content creator side of things. So Bone, congratulations, absolutely insane performance and score and everything. So I guess let's start off with champions then. If I see 3 Harimans, then I know why. No,
no, not really. It should be quite minimalistic what you see, because I really fed during the whole competition a lot of champions and stuff. Yeah. The strategy was more like Raid being an infinite game. So Raid, if you're not playing it during the challenge, Raid never ends. You can never win against Raid. You can never collect all champions. But during the competition, it was like you had that clear goal. After 3 months, you have the clear rules, how to get more points.
Yeah.
And this in mind, I did a couple of decisions right from the beginning. For example, not to keep any fusion champions for Razin, because it was unlikely to fuse Razin during the first 3 months.
Yeah.
Or to keep any fusion champions for Mikage. And that was one of the decisions I did right from the beginning. And to focus on, only those champions which helps me during the next couple of weeks. So
that's an interesting tactic, actually, because I did keep all of those elements. I could have fused Razin by the end, but I didn't need Razin, and potentially I could have had my 6 stars earlier, contributing to all of the different stuff that I was doing earlier. And the faster you get to different areas in dungeons, faster you're picking up those points which accumulate through the whole competition. So it's quite an interesting strat, actually. It's it's quite clever. So obviously I guess Bront just called out the main man here, Helicath, who
that was the perfect handover from Bront.
Yeah, he was around for a fusion in one of the free-to-play series, whenever it was, 2 or 3 years ago. And he was an absolute beast of a game changer because he just unlocks Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss super early. But I guess, tell us your experience of him outside of Clan Boss as well, because I think if you used him in a similar way that I did, he unlocks a ton of stuff quite early.
Probably the best story is how and when I did get him.
Oh, go for it. Go for it. Yeah.
And it was on the Friday, the last day of the second month. So at 9 o'clock in the evening, it was like the cut at all the different dungeons with his extra points. And in the early morning, I did my standard shard pull video. I pulled my shards. It was nothing amazing. It was really nothing happened. I did my live arena then and finished the 35 wins. I got a red shard outside of the video. I opened that red shard and there he was on that exact day. Unfortunately, I had a lot of sufficient legendary books saved because I didn't overspend the books into the other legendary. So I did book Alice beforehand. I did book Bad L, who I believe, in the second month.
Spoken about Bad L yet, but yeah. Yeah, nice. So how early did you get Bad L?
I believe it was in the second month. So not in the first one, but in the middle of the second month, something like that.
Because honestly, I mean, there was a time when Bad L was basically the best legendary in the game. But like before they changed Bad L's passive, when I first started playing, there were arena teams that ran 4 Bad L's and would just wreck the game because his passive stacked. And people were just doing like insane amounts of damage with Bad L, but still a great champion to this day. Probably not as widely used as he used to be, but again, for this type of challenge, the ability to cleanse plus poison plus heal is huge, right?
Especially the cleanse. I guess it was at that time the only cleanser I had. I had that dwarf as well. There was that dwarf, that epic dwarf, which is able to cleanse. I can't remember the name because he's already fed into someone else.
Oh, okay.
Dundark, something like that.
Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't leveled him, but I used him, I believe, in the first Doom Tower rotation to do the cleanse on the Nether Spider.
This guy,
that's true.
Runekeeper,
exactly.
yeah. And so I guess talk us through them. What were some of the highlights? Why were you able to sort of catch up, Bront, and go past him? Like, in what areas did you really start to push, I guess?
Yes, Bront was in the lead for the first 2 months, and this last day where got HellHades, and it was quite a surprise because I thought that the second month will end after 60 days, and it was like, okay, tonight this will be the cutoff, and I was not available, being at home alone with the children. My wife's gone, so big thanks to my wife who's doing this for the last 3 months with me. So.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Right from the question you have for all of us, how much I played, I guess during the last 3 months, it was like a 12 out of 10 for all 3 accounts I have. So my main, my free to play, and for the challenge account. Yeah, but then at the end of the second month, I placed in 6 of the 7 different categories on the first place, and these additional points pushed me close to Bront. That was a very important moment, and especially with Dragon, I remember that 2 minutes to 9 a.m. in the evening when cutoff was here in Germany. I managed to be 2 seconds faster at Dragon age 7 as Bront was at that time. So that was like very close. HellHades certainly helped me in different aspects as well. For example, at the Iron Twins. So before that, I was at level 12, I guess, and with him, I was able to push to the first place with 13. Looking forward now with the current roster to whoever's going to continue playing with that account to 15.
Yeah. And interestingly, so you pushed hard on Sand Devil. You went all the way to level 20, which is quite a lot further than near enough everybody apart from Trax.
I have had a really interesting epic champion I also never played before. It was the Lightsawn. And yeah, with that revive on death ability, it was basically I built him fast enough to be the first one in the team. So he was able to bring out that revive on death. Everyone else was dying due to the Sand Devil. Coming back again, Bad Elk did some healing. It was not really Heliceth doing the job here. He certainly helped, but Lightsworn was the MVP.
That's cool. It's cool to see some other champions coming in the mix. And then I guess when we're going up here for the different clan bosses, so the Demon Lord, obviously this is the Helicath show to a certain degree, but you still have to build the team around it, right? So you've still got to get the team that's going to maximize your damage in the team you've got, but it does for sure open up that unkillable, 50 turn guaranteed run, which means it's then about finding where your damage is coming from, I guess. And
most of the damage came from Alice with her Brimstone, and which is an argument for Alice not being necessary to book. I only have her use her A1 through the whole fight. So the AI is only and that's I also built her masteries in this way. So I built her for clan boss. In the end, she's now in a completely different build than she was during most of the competition. So I saw the competition in two parts to achieve the good rankings and points in the dungeons and later at the clan boss. So that was kind of the strategy. As at the dungeons, we had those cut-offs at month 1, month 2. So she was in Relentless. So if you go into the presets, so the possible presets for, exactly. So at the 10th of March, she still was in Relentless. So she was a lot faster. And with that,
damn, it's actually a good Relentless build as well. So you still had a lot of damage.
Smacked.
Yeah.
And this helped a lot for Doom Tower.
So you were choosing Relentless for the sake of dungeons, you're saying, and then you switched it for clan boss later on?
Yeah. So for the ways, because of her A2, it's like, and not only because of the dungeons, also for Chimera. I had that one key, I managed to one key the hard Chimera, only because of the Relentless build on Alice. Also, with that additional turns, the cooldown of Brimstone was reset often enough to have Brimstone basically permanently on the Chimera, doing tons of damage.
Did anyone else run like Relentless as a key build for someone in their team?
Believe it or not, my Tyrant is in Relentless because it's actually the best gear I had for him. It was not because I went out to build him in Relentless, but it was like, I need a really good speed boots. Oh, these are great for him. Hey, this chest is great for them. Hey, this shield is great. And he ended up in 4-piece Relentless with all the stats I needed. It was the only way I could actually build him the way I needed to. So it was really weird, but it worked out well for me.
Yeah, so Relentless was a really good trigger, especially as I was not really lucky into crafting Perception, for example. All this initial craft or the 9-piece Slayer I managed to get, really absolutely unlucky. But with Relentless, I was quite lucky. Ugo is in Relentless for really a long time. And yeah, so Sepitha here in Bolster.
Yeah, and then Ugo's in Relentless towards the end. Is that just as a... because it was just good gear, or was that by design as well?
By design, as soon as it was possible. So I love playing Ugo in Relentless for a long time on my different accounts on Hydra. And I was really using that duo of Alice and Ugo to nearly do everything in the content. So I also did the Nightmare campaign. I guess I finished 3rd after Bront, the Nightmare campaign, and only with the duo Alice and Ugo, and I did a dedicated video on that because I was so, really passionate about them being together, as Ugo can always revive Alice. He brings out that decreased defense, and Alice brings the control and the damage.
Yeah.
So that was really my team, and Tagore was 6-star in the last week only to help me in a couple of Cintrano stages.
And so did you, let's just take a look at your Great Hall and stuff. So Damn, you've done a lot in your Great Hall as well, actually. So you've done considerably more than even Bront. Have you been playing since it stopped, or is this all through the challenge dates?
Most of it all through the challenge dates. You see, it's like this week. It's the 40 fights. Like I played 2 days while I made my last videos, and I played the dailies. It's like when I log into the account, I have to play the dailies. It's like,
yeah, fair enough.
Just a quick throw in. Like I'm just like looking at the points and I'm thinking, where did it all come from? And it's just baffling me. So is this? I guess it's a question to you and Bront. How far did you go in the Cursed City, and how much points did it give you? Because I did see that Bront pushed really, really far, but I'm not sure, Bone, if he was in the same boat and how much points that was actually given.
A bit less than Bront, I guess. I guess Bront was at 75 stages cleared on normal. I was at 72, something like that. And one of the amazing moments was like in the normal Centranos, I used Stitch Beast, which then became fodder to kill the Dark Fae. Because really the turn meter drop on the A3 of Stitch Beast, that was a really fun moment.
So there's a lot of points coming from the Cursed City. Did you notice it on the leaderboards as you was progressing?
I didn't, but
we have.
It was one of these things where what I would do is I'd do a bunch of points and then I go and check and it's like, oh, I gained some more points. That's great. I think the biggest one for me, the biggest jump I had in points, which what got me into first place in the first place, was I went from not having a Chimera key outside of maybe like 10 million on normal to that 30 million, or that not a normal, easy. It was 10 million on easy, and I went to 30 million on normal, and that was a huge jump in points. And then Hydra certainly helped as well. But yeah, I mean, I thought that they were tracking them, but I think Bone, you told me that they weren't tracking them as individual rotations either, because I did 75 on one and I did 68 or 69 on another one. And if they weren't tracking them separately, I lost out points on that. Well, not lost out, but didn't get as many points as I might have otherwise if they weren't tracking them separately.
Yeah, I guess it's in the explanation of how points are calculated somewhere. But yes, Centranos is 1 point. For the second month, Helicat certainly helped me to push the dungeons as well. So Ice Golem Hard 9 was probably one of the hardest things to achieve. And I really put a lot of my Life Arena points into resistance to be able to bring Helicath in his regeneration gear at that time to sufficient resistance to be able to resist all these debuffs from the Ice Golem adds. So he basically soloed Ice Golem until Hard 9 with his old build in high resistance regeneration.
Sure.
That's crazy.
Interesting, yeah. And did you did you find you were doing that a lot, where you were picking on a specific build to get over one challenge for heroes or for champs?
Whenever it's possible, as we've mentioned quite a lot today, silver is really a pain in re-gearing champions. I guess a lot more would have been possible without that silver issue, without that only a couple of days where you're allowed to switch items, gear around, where I probably did most of my faction war points. It was like during those days where I saved that equipment and the builds of Alice and Ugo and moved them to food champions and used the food champions to get the stars in faction wars. And yeah, that really helped a lot. So there are a couple of factions where I'm not having a single champion anymore. So for example, at least Shadowkin, I don't have a single champion in there anymore. But Dwarf, I guess, YST, let guess which champion I use for doing that. 60
does she
points.
put you to sleep, and does she sleep herself? That's only 2 questions.
Damn, those 60 stars, like that's 60,
and
56, 51, 52, like that's a lot. 677, yeah.
Yeah, so Cornelia did that job on the dwarves in really long manual fights because I basically had no one doing real damage.
Sure. Awesome, man. Well, again, congratulations for winning the content creator side. I think we just got
applause.
Yeah. It's honestly though, to everyone here in the room, like the dedication to do this for 12 weeks is a lot. Like a lot. I had a couple of weeks where I couldn't do it, and still, you know, it felt like it was intense. So let's go on to Rob then. So Rob is the community winner. And as I said earlier, so if we compare, Bone's not shown on this one, but Bront here, 16,000 odd points in the community scoring. Rob the nice guy scored 6,000 more points.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Which is insane, honestly. So I've not seen what this account looks like yet, but I'm interested to see how that's even possible. And just for anyone who's unsure, we do have an ability to check if people have spent money, and they get eliminated from the competition. So if anyone's sitting here thinking, oh, he must have just cheated his way up, it's, unless he's outdone the optimizer, it's not possible to do that. So I guess, Rob, firstly, like, obviously welcome along. Dude, like, you know, how hard were you playing this game for the last 12 weeks?
Well, I'll say it like the other guy. I'm sorry, I can't remember your name at the moment, but 12 out of 10. Really hard, especially the first couple months, and after that, I really dove into efficiency with resources because they're so limited. So saving for things like free gear removal, and just certain events targeting, stuff like that.
Awesome. So let's have a look at your account. So another, what the hell? How is there so much gold on this account, dude? Like, how have you got so many legendaries? Wow, that's actually insane. Oh my Lord. And they're not even like just bad ones either. You've got Odin, you've got Pythian, Helicath. You've got like so many supports. This is crazy. You've actually got so many good supports here. Okay, talk us through. At what point did you start to land all of this gold?
So luckily for me, I hit Odin probably after about a month. I missed the first Doom Tower rotation, and Raid, you know, is about, you know, getting that first clan boss thing done. So I really focused on making that team, and it just really started snowballing. I'm getting all the rewards like Doom Tower and just completing things.
Did you go off really fast in terms of levels? Did you focus on getting loads of 6 stars early, or getting your account level up super early so you unlocked other things? Or tell us about your opening couple of weeks.
So I went a little bit different. I think one of the biggest choices was getting Sigmund early. That opened up a consistent decrease attack, and that allowed you to push a lot of areas and content. People were getting stonewalled at the beginning.
Yeah.
And
so this was your free champion. This is the one where most people took a Wukong or a Tagore. You took Sigmund, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Sigmund was MVP even into the late game. I'm still using him in my main teams everywhere.
Sure. That's interesting because, like you say, that you were probably able to push dungeons a lot faster than most of us early. But also, I guess you used him in Clan Boss early, you used him in Doom Tower early. Just about anywhere, right?
Yeah, Sigmund, yeah, any and everywhere. My main Chimera teams that I'm hitting Nightmare on, my main Hydra teams that I'm hitting Nightmare on. He comes in and brings a lot of support there as well. So he was allowing me to do that stuff early on lower levels too.
So let's have a look here on some of the team stuff. So for Clan Boss, you basically were able to do a 2-key Ultra Nightmare with an unkillable, I guess. Was it unkillable or not? Because you've got...
No. Yeah, so this is a little misleading. I started off with a Hellborn Sprite and another rare that does the block debuff, and I made a tune with actually Trax the Max. Big shout out to him. We did a video, and he let me highlight my Odin team I made. Just working on it and fine tuning things.
Sweet. Okay, that's cool. And then obviously you've got Elva in there. I guess Elva's in there for stun control and stuff like that as well, right? In terms of...
Well, this is a auto team, so when I guess I put this in on green affinity when I miss my 2 keys in the morning now, and I guess they must have out damaged my normal tune, which consistently only gets about 40 million.
Okay. Oh, nice. And then for Hydra, you came in second place in the whole community with a 25 million Nightmare key, which is, again, kind of bonkers, really. And so interesting. So you've got Skiramis in here, Mordecai in here, and Geo. So actually 4 epics out of the team. So it's not like you're just throwing all your legendaries in to get stuff to happen.
I dropped Sigmund for Skiramis. You know, he brings the mischief targeting that I need with him self-buffing. So if you look at his build right now, I was able to pull a couple extra copies, and I really push his resistance, and I get his accuracy high enough to where I can run Nightmare Hydra with him and not have to worry about getting my buff stolen. And Sigmund can't do that while also bringing the provoke and the decrease attacks. So he's actually a little bit better in Sigmund as I wanted to push my score.
Yeah, interesting. I do like that. I like to see some of the epics being thrown in just because they've got different skill sets or slightly more, I guess, tailored skill sets to what you're trying to do. But then you went Mordecai and Geo, which some people would say it's like countering each other to a certain degree. Like you want Geo's burnout there. So how comes you put both of them in the mix?
Well, for the challenge purposes, I'm going full manual. So I was very concerned about watching my Geo burn placement. I'm just trying to push damage. And when I'm doing Nightmare Hydra, it's outdoing any type of ignore defense stats, any type of other things that I can bring besides burns and Geo.
Yeah, nice. Interesting, cool. And then Chimera, you came in top. So you're the only one in the whole community that hit Nightmare. Is that right? and you outscored everyone hard. I don't know if this is an error.
Is nuts.
That's got to be an error, is it?
I have I know Solstikin. You can see him in the top scoring dragon. He's also hitting Nightmare with me. I don't know if there's anybody else that was doing it. He has a pretty nutty account as well. He has the Queen of Hearts and some others like a Phidias.
Yeah.
but
you outscored everybody else was hitting hard, and you outscored their hard keys on Nightmare.
Yeah, and fun fact, I was doing brutal when everybody else was still doing easy and normal. And that was because of a few things that I did differently. Like one, I like Ugo over like Tagore because I'm getting high Katoon from my increased speed. And you combine those two with Sigmund, you've already got yourself an all-star Chimera team right there. You got decreased speed, increased speed, block buff, and then you throw in an Alice and whatever damage you got, and you can start making magic.
Yeah. And then obviously as your account progressed, you then start to bring in, you got 2 revivers in the mix. You've got
the big boys came in.
Yeah, and the big boys were doing work by the looks of it. Because that is, I mean, honestly, that's not even a bad amount of damage if you've been playing for a couple of years. Like that's pretty pretty intense.
I want to take out Pythion for more damage, but I can't survive the Viper form without that second reviver. And so if I could just
plus his inbuilt damage reduction, right? It's just so good. His inbuilt damage reduction. I guess you've also got the Sigmund got strengthen as well. We got
He's got the strengthen. Strengthen only comes on Pythion on the revive.
Yeah, but ultimately you got the Pythion damage reduction through his passive. Yeah. Pretty sure you get damage reduction for buffs, don't you? And then, man, it's a quality team. It's a quality team. And then you were just like, well, I might as well smash hard 10 for Dragon, hard 10 for Ice Golem, hard 3 for Finite, hard 10 for Spider. At this point, you've basically beaten the game in 12 weeks. Or a good chunk of it.
He's not just beating it. He's actually done it in crazy times as well.
Level 59 twins, no problem. Yeah. Level 25 Shogun Grove. Level 20 on Sand Devil. Level 23 Event Dungeon. Like, it's pretty intense. Like, I was trying to think to myself, how have you got so many more points than everyone else? But I guess that's it. Is you're just so far ahead consistently across the group. How did you do with Doom Tower stuff? 120 hard for rotation 1. So that's the most recent rotation, I guess. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the current one.
No, that's the fourth rotation. It took over the first rotation.
Yeah,
which
so
I didn't finish.
So really, the first real rotation we had with any sort of time to do it would have been rotation 2 in this scoreboard. So you hit 69 hard. You then hit 120. So the one that I was proud about, you was like, well, I'm just trying to beat the whole thing. Damn, man. Like, it's a pretty mental achievement. Let's have a look at your faction wars and stuff.
Oh my gosh, literally almost
873 on faction wars. What the hell? So you beat Undead, you nearly beat Night Revs, you beat Ogren Tribes, nearly beat Orcs, beat High Elf. This is insane. This is actually insane.
I'm actually gobsmacked.
I can't even believe it.
This was probably the most intense part of the free-to-play, for sure. And I focused it in the beginning, obviously, like when I'm training champions, I'm using rares and commons to push the early stars. But then as it progressed, I really focused during the free gear removal and pushed and really put all my best gear on the best champions I could find to push.
This is so I was just curious about this. So you've got, it looks like you basically have generally got, if you're pushing far, a couple of 6 stars and then some thoughtful, I guess.
Yeah,
4
Frost
stars.
bringer, and she's not bringing the Frost.
Where's the Frost, man?
She left it at home.
She's not even bringing the Frost. Oh man, this is actually crazy stuff. So did you feed champions at all? Were you like epics and stuff, or were you like, I'm keeping pretty much everything because faction wars is a massive focus?
I fed that one lizard, I think, Jinzo.
Oh, Jizza.
I fed him. I still kind of regret it. I could use them, but you know, yeah. Overall, I try to, anybody that has use, I fed epics. If they're bad epics, I get rid of them. I just make a judgment call.
It's so impressive, man. The faction war thing is just crazy. Honestly, that's so many stars in 12 weeks. It's intense, and this is pretty crazy as well. So you've hit level 91 development, but obviously a lot of, or a decent amount anyway, of level 5, level 6. Were you on the arena right from day one? Were you able to push to gold 5 really fast?
So I was probably, I'm not going to say I was slacking by any means, but I wasn't like pushing like crazy arena. I just, I made sure to not, like let it cap out, but I'm not refreshing. I'm not wasting gems or anything on arena. I just let that come naturally.
But were you able to play at a point where you were at your PC or whatever most of the day, any 15 minutes, hitting the refresh, just for arena? The point, where all the other resources have dried up and that's all you've got to do. Were you actively doing that day to day?
No, I wasn't doing the arena grind. I probably could have pushed it a little bit harder. Live arena and arena, were my weakest points, I would say. And I still think I did okay.
So you have gone with the sort of faction war strat on. I'll say that, man. You've got a lot of upgrades here in live arena. You've got like a ton of Hydra, Demon Lord, a good amount of Doom Tower, or a bit of Doom Tower, and a good amount of faction wars. Let's see how many fights you did. So yeah, similar. I think was it similar to Bront? 660.
Yeah, that's about where I was at. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a good amount in the period of time you had. So fair play, dude. Like, yeah, you've pulled probably higher than the average in terms of quality, or way above the average, I'd say, in terms of quality of legendaries, and a good amount of epics as well, good epics. But you've definitely put it in as well. Like that is a lot of time, effort, and dedication to sort of push in those top spots. So, damn, dude, absolutely crazy. Like, what would you say out of all of these things where you've done well is the one that stands out for you as, you know, you were either surprised to get there or it took more effort to sort of make it happen? You know, what was the one?
I would probably say, you know, a push between Chimera and Hydra. I really specialize in those as far as like my clan. You know, people, you know, trust me with their accounts because they see what I can do and they're just, I want to explain it to them, but I'm just like, man, give me 20 minutes on your account and let me just min-max some things for you. And, you know, stuff like that. I'm very happy with how it went. And my scores I put up, I put in a lot of work, I put in a lot of time, and I honestly, I knew I was good, but I feel a little validated.
Yes. How long? I don't know if you mentioned earlier. How long have you been playing the game for?
So I came in right after Ninja, so my whole
all right.
part of my account is not having Ninja, and it's always haunted me.
Yeah. No, that's cool, man. Look, and is this the first like free to play series that you've been involved in, from a community point of view?
Yeah, no, the first one I decided to do it. I think last year had like no Legos. I was going to do it, but then I just chose not to. The community in your Discord was amazing. Huge shout out to Rook and Solstikin and you know lots of others that were just awesome in there, and we all helped each other and pushed each other. Yeah, they did great as well.
It is really cool, actually. Like there could have been another 10 people easily on this kind of video today. You know, people that do exactly that. They're in the Discord. They're showing teams that they've put up. They're talking about their builds. They're helping other people along. There's tons of other people that easily could have come and had this sort of chat. You know, Yakti is super active, like you say, Rook, Solstican.
Yeah, people that are amazing. He called me Odin 1 Kenobi.
It's just kind of fun that how many times we were pushing each other for this stuff. I know Roadblock, I think, made the comment. I was the first one to finish Nightmare Campaign, and I announced it in the Alice chat, and he's like, oh, maybe I should start doing that too. And then he went and he got and did it, and then I think Bone, you did it too, and then like 2 days later, like half the content creators had done Nightmare Campaign because I went and did it. Yeah. But, you know, that's the type of thing that it's, you know, sometimes it's a matter of, oh, those are good points. I can go get those later. That's kind of nice. And sometimes it's just a matter of, hey, maybe I'm not pushing my account hard enough, which I think it's really easy to get complacent. I mean, even my endgame account, sometimes I found that there's teams that's like, yeah, okay, I'm getting 300 million on Nightmare. Do I really need to push any harder? Well, you know, yeah, I probably can double that if I put some effort in it, you know?
Yeah. One of the things which I found as well this year is I went with that mentality of get it as early as you can, because once you've got those resources on your account, they're going to help you get to the next level of things. And I don't think I've done that in previous years, where I was really like, I want to push my account level as quickly as I can to unlock all of these different areas of the game, to start getting my Doom Tower rewards faster, to start getting my arena rewards faster, and you know, the advanced quests start to build faster, and even being a day or two ahead of other people on that type of stuff. It can actually start to snowball a lead. I think eventually, Colred's a good example of you can still catch up because he didn't play in that way and was still in the mix right through to the end. But I think certainly for that first month, you can give yourself quite a decent lead if you are just almost like degenerate, no life in this game in a challenge like this. So that's one of the things which I'm not saying I'd recommend it because damn, it was a lot of hours, but it definitely does give you that kind of like building blocks to get going. So, I guess, look, guys, we've been chatting for a huge amount of time here. I just want to say again, thanks everyone for coming on and kind of like sharing your experience in your accounts. And I guess, thanks to everyone in the community that has been involved. For me, it's been one of the most fun free-to-play challenges we've done yet. You know, there's so many people that were involved, and it's been just super fun to see the progression from all of the different content creators. So guys, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Big thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for making
You've been amazing, man.
Cool.
Yep.
Well,
and certainly
Great.
to the community, to everyone following that the challenge, and certainly to the German community. You're amazing.
you know, it's,
Yeah, I mean, the
one of the things
community
for
is
me.
so
Yeah,
the community is
gonna,
so awesome
you go.
too. It's just it is amazing. I know I've got a lot of support from the community. I know that Bone's got a lot of support from the community. I mean, Rob, it's actually been nice to have you cheering those of us on in the comments too as well, because I know I saw you regularly commenting as well and showing up. And it's one of these things that unites the content creators and the players, is that we're all doing this challenge. Most of us are starting almost the same way. And it's just an amazing community event, and I think this is great. And thanks HH for putting that on.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, the streams, honestly, I couldn't believe the first stream, the number of people in that stream. Like, I was just sitting there like, I think it was my biggest ever stream of this game, and all I'm doing is running campaign like for 4 hours straight. You know, it's not that entertaining, but it just shows how, you know, the community really get behind it and they really enjoy this type of challenge. So yeah, once again, thank you everyone for watching. That's going to wrap up the free-to-play challenge 2025. I will put links to everybody's channel down below. Go and check out these great people, and we will see you real soon.